Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Yo-Yo Ma, your cellist for this evening.
Now, how could I say no? And so Yo-Yo rockets me up the New York State Thruway on the first Friday in May for our SI orientation evening, starring the work of Mary Sawyer. Over and over, Libertango by Piazzolla repeats. I could have missed the New Paltz exit, but my car knows exactly when it's time to slow down and begin to move into the exit ramp. In minutes, I'm out of my car, avoiding the steady stream of raindrops, as I totally ignore the stairwell and move directly to the elevator, riding up to the second floor probably for the last time. Unlike Steve, I am not sentimental about the closing of Old Main for essential renovations. When Mary and I found our new SI room in the Science Building last summer, I never felt a twinge of guilt about moving out of the education hub of SUNY. Central air conditioning, shades on the windows, a built-in LCD projector, and an end to that Old Main musty odor lured me away. On the second floor, Mary is spending her last precious afternoon minutes refining her Teacher as Writer workshop, and even though she's presented a version of it every year for the last 5, it's still a work in progress, like all dynamic TIWs, and she's eager to get some feedback from us before we move to book group suggestions. You know, as I look around Tom's office, his view of the mountains, I'm feeling something close to that tinge of sadness, wondering when we will be back here sharing together. But there's no time to even verbalize this. We are under the gun to get moving down to the 1907 room and set up for teachers almost at the end of their school year on a rainy Friday night, probably wondering what made them apply for the HVWP. Just as we finish our book chat, Steve, Diane, and Caitlin arrive, and we move down to the 1907 room and begin to take on the challenge of this very dull institutional room that we need to fill with colorful pieces of cloth for our living gallery, and soon the place is humming as new fellows arrive and join us. I set up my technology from bags exploding with cords, cameras, tripods, a collection of tech toys I just couldn't live without. Fiddling with the LCD projector, I breathe a sigh of relief when, as if by magic, Steve's log appears on the blank wall. Soon we have Mary, we have most of our SI, we have energy and excitement in the air, and soon we even have food from Reno's. Eggplant, pasta, cheesecake, cannolis. We need the fuel and the chatter to begin. We need magic pens and reintroductions. And gingerly, Mary takes the stage, and we begin to consider our writing lives.
When they don't have any really personal experience or connection, they have to develop the flesh and bones of what they're going to write about. We're asking them to write, we're expecting them to abstract.
With the text set, I feel free to join in and remember and write about my ahas as a writer. I feel good about the time I took to look around my study and select some of my writing life artifacts. Natalie Goldberg's Writing Down the Bones, Alvaro Cardona Hines, my poet and artist from Truchas. There's early sharing tender moments as we take the necessary baby steps toward a writing community.
Saying how, I don't remember exactly how it looked, but I do remember it had a key, and I was thinking about all the things I could put it in, and then my mother saying, well, she wanted the other key.
Mary moves us to museum cards to describe our artifacts. We write and set up, preparing for our upcoming museum walk. As we move from exhibit to exhibit, we stop and digest the pieces of writers' lives, writers we are getting to know better, and leave for them bits of us. As we finish with a bit of reflection, the group leaves. Are they looking forward to a return engagement early on their Saturday morning? We are smart not to ask. Instead of driving back to Nyack, I travel over the mountain in less than half the time and sleep over in Ellenville at the Kaplan family's compound. And the next morning the ride, even in the rain, is spectacular and manageable. Arriving at the Terrace restaurant, even though it's still raining outside, this new large space with food provided for us, I am ready once again to enjoy the work of our team as Tom joins us and we watch our returning fellows step deeper into leadership roles. After coffee and catching up, Mary brings us back and Tom steps up to introduce the SI to an important piece of writing we all have to share, something of our teaching lives. Like Mary's museum walk, I've watched Tom move this workshop from its early teacher story focus to where he will take it today.
Type all day long.
He begins with a children's book, Click Clack Moo, and engages us to join in. He uses the story's situation to move us to consider the power of letter writing. And as I watch him, I am blown away by his skill to catch the flavor of responses thrown his way, and his art at mirroring them back. He spends time expanding and clarifying the nature of writing a piece on our teaching practice. We choose one of 4 pieces to focus on. I remember each one. Tom's own early piece, Notes from a Bonehead Teacher, Rebecca's letter to parents, Julia Hewitt's newspaper article, and Dolores Perez's piece, a former visiting scholar who wrote an article about her site's family evening. We talk about these letters together. And Tom leaves us with lingering questions and thoughts each of us will be challenged to consider. What will move us to write about our teaching practice? We're running well. Just before lunch, we are all up to share books to the group. We have a great stack of favorites. We have learned over time what kinds of books seem to work best in our book groups. Lunch, like breakfast, is a catered affair, and that's a blessing for all of us. As the last brownie is swallowed, Caitlin takes on a very satisfied group with the challenge to stir them up, to consider their future roles as members of the NWP when they return to their schools. Sadly, Steve and I abandoned ship, off to the lab to prepare for our very last session. Of course, Steve and I set up in minutes, and we wait, and I pace, and we take bets on just how far we'll be able to get on the agenda I've created. Magically, we do everything and then some. I pack up the lab to leave for home, and as I make my way to the car, Mary and the returning fellows are already creating book groups. They don't need me. Tom at his car is chatting with Lila, and they're good. It's back to Nyack after a great productive weekend. Off to SI on July 7th.